Hi guys, it is Nicole and Ralph, and I went on a live this morning, and I kind of just shared with you guys like just how Ralph has been my biggest mentor, and he doesn't work the business with me. Definitely gives me like a lot of referrals and customers, but I just kind of wanted to let him give his perspective on being a supportive spouse. That's not working the business with you. We have a lot of great couples that are doing it together, and so I just thought that it would be really great to get that kind of that other perspective. So and if you want to ask questions kind of along the way, I'll try to watch out for those and ask him. So the first question that I kind of wanted to find out was just like, what was your first initial reaction when I shared that I wanted to share Revital You?
Well, I've always known that you were going to do something great or marketing or have your own company. We've talked about it for years. I think you were looking for that right niche, that right thing that you believed in. And knowing who you are, it had to be something that you knew was real. Because you're not a salesperson. You're not trying to make money. You're not, those types of things don't motivate you. You want something that changes lives and makes people have a benefit for doing it. So I knew that you would find something. We were going to look at different options and things like that. But I knew right away when you started going with it that it was a great thing and you were feeling great results and you were excited about it. So that excited me. So
how did you encourage me through kind of that first 30 days, like as I was trying to figure out the business, and something specific that I'm trying to think back.
Yeah, there's a lot of challenges going on. I mean, you had a brand new company. You were trying to figure out the company. They were just getting started. You're taking care of the house and our company, our businesses that we've had, and running our back office and taking care of the kids and just a million things going on. So I was just trying to encourage you to keep going, keep after it, get a fast start, and whatever effort you were putting in then was going to be what you would duplicate down the road. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think that was part of the biggest mindset of having been there, done that myself multiple times. I knew what a startup company was like, and it was going to be a lot of work and a lot of go, but it was fun to watch you evolve that first 30 days to figure out where to start, where to go, and how to get it running. So. Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that you would have done differently? Or as a couple would have done differently?
I think early on, I think it was you were knowing who you are. You were trying to please everybody, including me, which you always do, and the kids, and make sure that you report out. And so I think early on, I would have probably, as painful as this is, had you step out of our business earlier. So you could have given it, because again, you hung on with me till March, which was incredible. And after 7-8 years of you running the whole back office and 40 hours a week doing that, and plus, selfishly, I needed you in that role, and still do. But it was great to see that you were able to take that running. So I probably, if I could look back now, would have said, "Baby, you need to go earlier. Give it 34 inches, you got your feet. It was running. Just dive in and do it, and back it out earlier. So not wait till March, probably December or something. Just get it rocking and rolling, and I would have encouraged you to start earlier. So
let's see. So I was just going to ask, kind of, I've been in since end of July, and we've had some things with the company, some low days that I've had, and there's been because I am a people pleaser, so sometimes if I'm not able to give everything that person's needing, it does affect me. So how have you supported me emotionally kind of on those low days?
That's a good question. I'd say this, marketing and dealing with people, period. I mean, you're going to have rejection. You're going to feel pushback. And I think personality wise, it's something where you're there to help them. You want to encourage them, and you just got to reach a point where you can do everything you possibly can, but you can't be that for everybody. There's a point where they have to jump in and engage and go. And you're going to have days that are up and days that are down. So I was really just trying to support you to keep after it, look for the positive things that were going on that day, and look for where you'd be in 30 days, in 90 days, 120 days. Just keep that goal that if that one or two things is beating you down, then it's robbing the joy from you, but it's also robbing the potential of where you might be in 60, 90, 120 days, and not just you, but as you look back now, the hundreds and hundreds of people that have networked in with you. So if you'd given up early, what would that have affected for all of them? Letting that one person that really, sometimes after 27 years of doing what I do, I look back and go, well, There's certain people that are in certain pivots and certain things in their life because that's just kind of where they are. You can do whatever you possibly can, and you can help them, and other people have. And unfortunately, they haven't got that within themselves to make that change yet. And you got to be you, and you got to go 100% and take care of them, but you can't make them change. So it's just realizing that and coming. It still hurts, it's still painful. You still want to help them, but you just can't. After a while, you got to realize that they're not doing it. So for me, it was just encouraging you to look at that bigger picture. You can't take it personal sometimes, even though it is very personal. Your life's, it's your blood, sweat, and tears, and it's who you are. It's your face, it's your identity sometimes that you're putting out there. And it's hard not to take that as a personal no to you. And that's been a beautiful evolution, watching you mature in your company. Just seeing where you've evolved and you've grown and you've reached out and you've kept your integrity and kept who you are, because that's your core. You'll never change that. But you've learned to manage your day, manage your time, manage your business. And again, it's just a phenomenal thing to watch from my perspective, watching you bloom and grow and build, and to be able to create this amazing company, this network. And I think that was a beautiful thing. But it's going to have some ups and downs. That's life. But just being there to support it and to encourage it, and just again, when you're down, I'm going to pull you up. You do the same thing for me, because I get hammered all the time with different things that come up and fires that put out and different things in the portfolio that aren't going on, and dealing with people. It's a lot of pushing and pulling, and mindset has to be up and positive, and the next day comes. So that's what I've seen. So.
Amazing. All right. Well, people are popping on here. I have some more questions for Ralph, but I'm going to let you guys see if you guys have anything that you're wanting. Oh, good. Lots of couples on here. Mm-hmm. We have some amazing influencers on our team that are in leadership, and they have their spouses that are running full time too. So what's that time management look like? Like priorities for date night and still having our couple time, and not only talking about the business, because we're usually date night turns into the goal casting and just what we wanted, all the exciting things, because it's so much a part of who we are. But there is a balance there, and I wouldn't say that we've mastered that, but what are some things that we've done to put in that balance or keep it in check? Yeah,
great questions. I think me better than anybody in the world, but I'm always on. I'm always running. I'm always going. I'm always doing. It's just 7 days a week. So it's helped to really prioritize when I am home, when I'm with the kids, when I'm with you, of carving that early morning out. My favorite time of the world always is Friday about 5 o'clock at night, because I feel like I've got the entitlement or the right to shut my phone off and not have to answer it, or turn an email, or turn a text back to somebody. Which again, my whole life is there because of that. So I appreciate that. I want that. I love my clients dearly, and I want to manage them, take care of everything, and meet their expectations. It's who I am. And you're the same way. You want to meet there and be there, but you do that. You need time off. And so I think we've learned to balance that a little bit better. Mm-hmm. And tonight is date night, by the way. So we're doing this first, then we're going on date night. So we're still working and going. Yeah, we always do that. So I think that's part of it as well, is just understanding that you're always in business, you're always on, you're always going. But with that luxury, you can choose those times around it. Mm-hmm. And so, I always joke with you that we work half days. Just pick the 12 hours you want to work and work. Yeah. It's just you work a half a day, 12 hours, get going. And I've always done that. So, but it's making that time efficient, but also with the kids and family and time. I'm going to be off for that 3 hours because I'm going to pour into Olivia or Walker or Tristan. Okay. I'm going to be at the soccer game or the baseball game, but I'm going to be there and present. But I might be returning calls till 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, or texts or emails. That's okay, because I'm going to get that time carved out. Right. And that's the double-edged corner of having your own business. You've got that beauty of managing your time, but that's also the negative. If you don't do it right, it can consume your day. And so that's just, the evolution of it. So there's no perfect yes or no for any person, but you've got to put the priorities of life first. Yeah. And you've got to make that time and carve that time and make sure it's all working. So it's a fine line. It's a balance.
Yeah. I mean that, and we've learned a lot the last, especially the last few months in that. But what would you say our number one struggle, not hardship, but just struggle with, me, I've been gone a lot and just working that out. And, what do you think the biggest struggles been with me having my own business?
Well, I mean, just the adoption of you changing from running our back office and being my right arm for the last 8-9 years of taking care of all that back stuff that goes on, and being the hands-on with the clients, and myself knowing that that's something I need to get corrected, because they're not being cared for on all those levels. But at the same time, looking at the potential of what you've done and where you are, and knowing that that's a beautiful thing. It's an amazing. I love seeing you run and do your, it's just nothing makes me happier than seeing you succeed. It's awesome. So seeing that go on is great. I think some struggles we've had is just trying to learn to balance that. But at the flip side is you now, I feel, understand me better than you ever have. Because in the last 27 years, this is all I do. This is what I do. You're always on. And so taking that call at Disneyland for 5 minutes so I can go back and be with the kids on the ride, when I call and returning something, or making the trade, or closing a client, or doing something that has to happen. And it's critical time. Sometimes you don't have an hour to get back to somebody. It's critical. And you've got to get it done right there, because you're dealing with their finance and their life and their futures and things that they're doing. So you've got to adapt quick, but then I can take care of it and be right back into where we were.
Right.
If I don't take care of it, I'm really not with you anyway, because I'm still thinking about what I didn't take care of.
Yeah.
And we've always had that back and forth. And I think you're understanding that better. And it's actually, I think our marriage is stronger it's ever been.
Yeah.
Because I fully get it. You got to call, take it, grab it, because I want you to come back into the dinner. I want you to come back into this time. Or, there's times we shut it off, but I love that ability that you fully understand now why I've done that. But it's also helped me as, with the kids, seeing how quick they're growing, to make sure I take that time and shut that time and balance it. And so that's just, I think, part of growing and being in life as well, that, it's way surpassed the level of we need more money, or I need to certain levels or certain, things of achievement. That doesn't keep you running a business for 27 years, or it won't keep you running through all the hurts or the ups and downs and things that you're facing. It won't get you there. What'll get you there is understanding why you're building it, why you're doing it, who you're helping, and the benefit that they're getting and their families, and watching them grow and build and develop and mature within themselves. That's what will keep you doing it. It is passing that success on and duplicating it to other people. And then, generationally changing things. You're changing their children's children. And that's critical. It's our philosophy. It's who we are. So I love that, what you're doing. It's something that really does have a huge impact, and it's changing communities. And so those are all good things. And it's just balancing that out. I think so. To me, it's not negatives. It's not struggles. Right. It's not things we've looked at. It's growth. It's coming together. Yeah. It's supporting each other. It's having a deeper understanding and commitment that at the end of the day, you do need that place you can go to, and that person that has your back no matter what. And you can just share, even if it's some crazy off the wall, thing that you're freaking out about. I think it's healthy to have that balance and also that encouragement, and also understand that you need a place. If you don't have a spouse, you got to find somebody that you can dump that off on, but also get fed from, and don't always dump on them. It needs to be back and forth reciprocal, but feed each other, pull each other, encourage each other, and then leave it there, pray about it, and then go back to work. Leave it there, because otherwise it's going to drag into, even if you think it's not, it's dragging into that stuff anyway. So you got to find a place to get that out. Maybe it's, we'll exercise for 20 minutes or half hour. I don't know, something. Just, you got to vent that out and then go back on it. So
that's so good. So good. We got some people. I have a couple more questions here, but if you guys have anything, just let us know. Can you share this? Yeah, for sure, Sarah. Absolutely. Yes, he is a keeper, Amy. Yes. I was just going to ask, what advice would you give to a spouse that, maybe just doesn't get this, and they're maybe seen as just unsupportive, or, the influencer that, has that spouse that they feel isn't 100% backing them? What would you say to that influencer, and then what would you say to that spouse that's being unsupportive?
Right.
That's a hard one, but.
Yeah, that's a tough question, because you don't know why that support's not there. I've hired, countless reps over the years and trained them and taught them financial planning and, how to build their companies and businesses. And that was always a key thing. If I didn't have the support of that spouse or the support of somebody in their life, if they weren't married, there had to be somebody supporting that person. And sometimes that would be me a lot, and to encourage them and build them. And that's the challenge too. Sometimes you have more faith than they do. And so you just got to find somebody to support that. If you don't have that, that's extremely difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where maybe you find somebody that is helping you. And maybe there's the parts of, that spouse, maybe they're going through some issues as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't personally understand this, but I do know there have been, and I've had different reps on my teams, that there was jealousy on spousal levels where they would have those successes and things that they would see, and for some reason they felt threatened by it. And I'd never have gotten that. It's not who I am, but I want you to do 50 times better than me, and the kids do 100 times less. I mean, that's just for me how life is. But I do know of that. How to deal with that? That's I don't know. It's just it's a tough situation. I think that maybe sometimes there's doubt that is this, maybe you've been changing jobs a lot or changing things. You've tried. This is your 5th thing you've tried, and we've spent. We've got a few people that we know personally. That we know that have gone through that, where a spouse is just trying to find that groove, trying to find who they are. And, I think sometimes there is a tendency to say, okay, this is one more thing they're going to try. And maybe with that situation, okay, if this is that thing, then this is maybe your time to prove it, because you've got no excuses in this company. I mean, you don't. Literally, you don't.
Right.
It's not going to be 3 or 4 years and $3,000 or $400,000 out of your pocket, and all these massive things in inventory and offices and equipment you have to buy to get it and not have it work. Mm-hmm. You're doing this out of your car with your laptop or your phone, and you're talking to people at the mall, networking and going and doing. You don't have a lot of outgo here.
Right.
So the risk from somebody not making this work would really only be some time.
Mm-hmm.
Quite frankly, they could put out maybe a little bit of capital, but most of it would just be time.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe if your spouse isn't supporting that early on, then maybe get up at 4:30 in the morning and work it from 4:30 to 7:30 before they get up, or hours when they're not around. If they're really not going to support you, I think I'd want to be in the model where I prove it to them I could do it, in a loving way, not in a show-me way, but in a loving way. Say, hey, look at this. Here's how this is impacting our family and other people. So, just find different time that would still be available to take care of your kids and meet their needs and things that are going on, because I don't get what the dynamic is, but just find a way to work around it. There's always a way you can do it. It doesn't. There's no excuse to make this work. There really isn't. I mean, in this day and age, there's no reason. You're not having to drive 1,000 miles and really support yourself on the road and do road trips and put up thousands of dollars of capital for meetings and seminars and planning and get licensing and all kinds of crazy stuff that is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Pick up your phone or go talk to people and hand out a card at the mall. I mean, you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's a barrier that some spouses would have a major issue to, because you're spending thousands of dollars and you're putting them in harm too. You've signed a lease for a year, $4,000 a month for a building.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're on the hook for $48,000. I mean, that's a big deal.
Right.
This doesn't do any of that.
Mm-hmm.
So the downside to a spouse should be very minimal.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I don't understand not supporting you to run. I just don't think that way. I do think there's also a balance. If maybe you're not, if you're neglecting us or yourself or the kids or other people, then that could be a problem as well.
Right.
But you're not. I mean, you find that balance. That's the beautiful thing of having your priorities lined up and who you are. And maybe if you're in that situation, you need to both sit down and just map out really what your goals and priorities are.
Mm-hmm.
As a couple, where do you really want to be in 6 months or a year or 2 years? And map that out and see what that looks like. They might be completely different. And that's okay too. Just kind of see where they can cross over and how you can support each other. Mm-hmm. But I would think a spouse not supporting this maybe would be a lack of understanding or a fear that, here's one more thing they're going to try, or maybe they're afraid that their spouse might try it and fail. They're going to be hurt.
Right.
And they're afraid for them, because some people are afraid that failure is going to hurt that other person.
Right. That's good.
I mean, it's,
for sure.
Everyone who's ever succeeded has failed more times than they've succeeded. It's just a reality. I mean, I don't have one person I've ever met that didn't fail more times than they won. I mean, it's just a reality. Name anybody in sports, it's exactly what they've done. So they've missed more shots than they've made, but they still make it.
Right.
So I don't look at that. I mean, it's stepping stones, it's growth, it's opportunity. But that's just my outlook. Mm-hmm. Some people don't have that. You're the same way. You put that positive and you find it. So I guess I'll just be looking back and seeing where you are, what you want to do, what your goals are, and maybe post that out there. Maybe you haven't defined your why, why you're doing this and your goals, and make that very clear. Mm-hmm. And then set those timelines to work after it. Yeah. Or don't sit there and complain because you're not growing your company and you're dumping on your spouse every night. Mm-hmm. And they're going, yeah, but I saw you sitting on the couch eating bonbons, watching movies for 5 hours, and you didn't make one phone call. Or you talked to 2 people and handed out a card, but you haven't had any follow-up. Because they're seeing that too. Mm-hmm. You're up at 4:45, 5 o'clock every morning. You're in your tub. You're in there working. You're running your numbers. You're going. You're making calls. You're on the conference calls. You got 8 meetings a day going through there. You're killing it. There's no way I could ever sit there and go, hey, honey, what do you? I mean, I know you are. You're doing maximum effort, and so if I'm seeing that, so there's no possible way I could look at you and say, well, maybe your spouse isn't seeing that, or maybe it's taken away from the career that you do have that you've put a lot of time into, and that is the family's dependent bread and butter. And they're going, man, you're kind of jeopardizing our family right now because this hasn't quite caught up or taken over that. So it's just finding that extra hour or two, and in our business, it's amazing certain things you can focus on, where maybe you have a new part of a financial planning that comes out, or even like a health insurance or a supplement, or things that you can't run your whole life on that because it's a small fraction. But that extra 1 or 2 hours a day, or half an hour a day, 3 hours a week of just focused on that certain thing, it's amazing in 4 or 5 months how that all of a sudden has replaced other parts of your portfolio. Because you're focused on it.
Yeah.
And nothing else was compromised, like everything grew. And so there's just ways of doing it. I mean, you can balance it, and we're all balancing something. So no matter if you're working or not, you're balancing something. Whether it's health or life or family or just whatever it is, you're balancing something. So there's always a place you can balance that.
Oh, so good. So good. So there are times I've woken up earlier to do the coffee business. Yes, that's awesome, Marisol. Exactly. No excuses. Scott says, hey, Ralph, you're an amazing man.
Because I got an amazing girl.
Hey, Jennifer. Hey, guys. Well, if you guys don't have any more questions, that was like a ton of great information. So thank you. You can see why I always just come to, I do. I just always come to Ralph when I have, something going on. I love, that aspect of our marriage, that you can be a little bit removed from, the day-to-day stuff. And so, and me sharing everything with you doesn't affect anybody, so you're a very safe place for me to go to. And so, and then just, the years of experience that you have, and it's just like the perfect mentor. So I am. Well,
I have mentors too. I mean, it came with, years of grinding it out, skinning your knees and blooding your knuckles and going, just not giving up. It took a decade to build the practice that we have, and it's still going every day. We're all in every day. And it's not just me, it's the partnerships, it's the relationships, it's the friends. It's, I've got an amazing team around me, and an amazing partner that, he's there for me every time I need it. He backs me up, he runs it. We can do 10 times because we're together. I can't do it on my own. So it's not about me at all. And it's also starting that day off with prayer and balance, and reading scripture, and getting myself aligned, focused every day throughout the day, because that's critical. And then making sure as I leave this area for the office and things, I'm in the right mindset to come home. So I'm there for the kids, and I can focus on them, and I can bring that joy back into the home, and be there for you. Those are all balancing things that take a long time to learn through a lot of trial and error and mistakes.
Right.
They're not easy, but you're doing. It's just amazing. You have a mindset. This is your company. You own it. It's going to live and die by what you do every day, and hold that dear, and understand the effect it has on everyone around you and everything around you. Because it's not, you may be running it and going and doing it, but someone has to buy the coffee. You're not buying 5,000 tubs of coffee a month.
Right.
And the company's not selling 50 million tubs of coffee in a year because they're doing it themselves. People have to buy it, want it, and keep coming back. And so it's the same thing with any business. You're doing it, but you're dependent on the other people being participants, and there's a give and a take. And so how do you reach them and pour into them and keep them connected and keep that going, and encourage those people that are all around your tier to encourage and build and develop their tiers and keep that running. So again, we all have moving vital parts. And so like any business.
Absolutely. And I love too that, as I'm sharing things, you're like, oh my gosh, I feel like, this was at this point in my career, like almost verbatim, like the process of building a team. You said, okay, now kind of watch out for this next thing coming up. And then, sure enough, that's, that next phase and that next growth period and with our team. And so it's just amazing how, you kind of guided me through that and then for what's to come too. So
I had a mentor early on that taught me, I had a mentor early on that taught me when I first got into corporate partnership. And so, it was a high-level financial company, and we had so many reps around us, things were moving. And he was just an amazing guy. I mean, he was a very rough. He was one of those old school mentor bosses that his philosophy was that, carve off as much as you can, whittle you down to the bone to encourage you, build you back. So, I mean, there was planning and timing, and every week I'd go through, and it was my training session and my mentors and my numbers I had to hit and goals and recruiting and development and production. And I mean, he had no issue with laying you to the bone where you felt like you just wanted to crawl under a rock and hide for the month. But the next morning, he'd say, "Hey, buddy, I know it was tough on you yesterday, but I believe in you. You can do this. You can be here." He could see more in that 23, 24-year-old kid that I could see in myself. And he knew where I would be. And I respected him. I did, because I had to have that respect. I did respect him, even though it was hurt. It was painful. But I could see where he wanted me to get me to. And so it was learning that. But one thing he taught me early on that it always stuck with me, and I've shared with you as well, because each of you are managing your own company. You've got your own company you're managing, and then there's everybody, everyone's managing somebody. Even all the way to the top, Andy has somebody managing him, and that's all the people that are working for the company, buying the coffee, and the customers and the vendors and everybody around it. The CEO is managed by 1,000 people. So nobody stops you manage. But the bottom line is, when you're managing people and you're recruiting and you're developing, which is what you're doing, and building this massive team, if everything's going perfectly smooth and everything's right, and this new person you brought on, this brand influencer, is just killing it, and they're doing really well, and they're bringing in lots of new people, and things are moving along, it will be because it's something that they have done. In their mind, hey, I did this. Right. No matter what you poured into, what you've done, where they are, it's because you did it. I did it myself. I've done all this. That's human nature. If something goes wrong, it'll be the manager's fault. Well, the company didn't do this, or someone didn't do that, or the mail messed up, or this person didn't do that. It's just human nature. So if they're doing well, hey, they did it. If they're doing bad, as the boss, it's your fault. And it's just so funny. The same thing in my practice. If things go really great, it's something that they've got, it's just kind of a funny deal. But knowing that, understanding human nature, because we're that way. Right. And it's just who we are. That it helps you step back sometimes and go, you know what? If things are going smooth and going great and they're happy and things are successful, then that means I'm really doing my job the right way. If things are going bad and there's a fire, that means I'm really doing my job the right way because they're coming to me to help them. So good. And I need to stay in that with them, because again, just having you there behind them is what's helping them propel. Right? Because again, you're seeing what you've done, and they go, I want to be there. I can be there. They're chasing after that dream or goal, or that can I do it? Yeah, I can do it, because if they're doing it, I can do it. It's that whole winning philosophy of the team. But just keep in mind, so if they're both positives, they might look like a negative at first, but the fact that they're coming to you, they're talking to you, they're wanting you to be part of it, you're still winning, because they're coming back to you. It's when they don't come back to you, when they don't call you, when they shut down completely, when they totally go off, it's like, well, did I not keep enough of a relationship there? Did it break down somewhere else? What broke in that process? And that's where you get scared. Where are they going? They're going to give up too easy. They're not reaching out because they're hiding, or they're shut down. Or if they're shut down, they're not helping anybody, including themselves. So it's just keeping those open lines of communication, making sure they understand that you can go through there, and even stepping back and going, wow, look at that. They've brought in 800 people this quarter. That's amazing. I want them to go past me. Everybody you bring in, my mindset would be, I hope that they do 10 times more than I've ever done. Because how can you lose? So it's just that thought process.
Oh, so good. So good. Oh, all right. We have to get to dinner. Oh, thank you. Ralph, brother, you need a business podcast. He's writing a book. Right? There's a second book on the horizon too. So the first one is Spiderwebs, right? That's the first one he's doing. Placing myself in that God-centered mindset is definitely something I've been focusing on every morning before I start my day. It's really helped me motivate me. Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Everything.
Yep, 100%. Definitely. I don't want to. You guys are so honoring. Thank you.
Thank you guys for honoring my wife and for loving her and supporting her, because that means everything to me. And so I'm not going to talk too much because I'll start crying, because I'm pretty emotional about her. So I do appreciate it. I love watching her grow and to build and just pour everything out. And just know that she just loves you guys. She loves what she's doing. She believes in it. She's completely sold out in an amazing way. And just encouraging to watch you do that. I'm so proud of you on so many levels. and always have been, and always will be. It's just awesome to watch you bloom and to grow and to have your own thing. I love that we're not doing it together from that one aspect. Is because I'm doing it with you, I'm supporting you, and I've always said, whatever you need, how much money do you need, what do you want to do, you want to hire that, whatever you need. It's not a matter of not having you do it, but having you grow and do and build and run this is amazing to watch you develop and mature and to grow your business skills. Mm-hmm. And it's incredible. And your people skills and your ability to just manage multiple tasks and all the things you have going on. And that's been super encouraging, is to watch you do that, to watch you run and then see you get the love and the accolades and all the awesome stuff that comes with that. It just melts my heart. I love to see that because you're my girl, and I love to see you do that. But it also because as a person, we all need those things that we can look back on and say, "Hey, I did that. I've worked hard. I've done that." And so that's what's that affirmation of things that you know you've accomplished, and you're just starting. You're just scratching it. Yeah, you are. It's going to be awesome to look back and 2, 3, 4 years from now and go, "Wow, what was that all about?" Just watching those different levels. It's incredible, and so that is awesome. And to be able to fully support you, and like you say, have a place that you can push, pull, and come back to, have a safe zone that you're always in. Mm-hmm. We all need that. It's got to be with somebody. Mm-hmm. And for me, it's us. For here. So, it's.
All right, friends. Well, we're gonna go have date night. So, thank you again.
Thanks.
All right, bye, guys. Bye.